Hi, I'm Joe Wadsack and this is David Hay, owner of the Galloway's restaurant in Woburn, and welcome to the ViVAS 2011 Christmas Drinks Guide. In a minute I'll be telling you about some of the wines we've chosen to go with the Christmas menu, but first of all let me tell you about ViVAS in Christmas last year. Customer numbers were up by over a quarter. Sales increases over the November and December trading period were 43%. Case sales of sparkling wine were up by 54%, and within that we sold twice as much champagne as the year before. The overall profit margin was just over 50%, so thank you. Right, David, tell me about this year.
I've had an outstanding year so far. I'm absolutely delighted. And the positive side of that is that with November and December looming on us, it's always such a fantastic period of trading for the restaurant business as a whole. And for me, the growth market has been absolutely brilliant, especially in sparkling wines and mainly Prosecco.
Prosecco is a big deal now, isn't it?
It is great because by the glass it leads to a fantastic profit margin, and equally by the bottle it sells so much more value towards the customer.
Right, speaking of fizz,
do you want a drink?
I wouldn't say no. Thanks, Dave. Right, before we start, let me tell you how to prepare an ice bucket properly. It's amazing how many people haven't been shown this before. Get an ice bucket, fill it a third full of ice cubes, straight out of the ice machine or straight out of the freezer. Put a bottle on the ice, run a tap cold, and then put the ice bucket underneath. And as the water rises in the ice bucket, there'll be a point at which the bottle falls through the ice. Stop pouring water. That's the exact proportion of water to ice to bottle. Add 2 teaspoons of salt, and that makes the freezing point of the water lower. You'll chill the wine 4 times faster. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself. 3 different fizzes here, 3 basic food groups of fizz. These are the wines that we're suggesting you should have for the Christmas menu this year. We have a Cava from Spain, Prosecco from Italy, and a Champagne from France. Where else? So the first one, Cava. This was very popular. This was the first sparkling wine that we drank when we couldn't afford to drink champagne in the last recession, basically. And it's extremely well made. Most people think of Cava as the bottom price, the cheap alternative. But actually the wine's been made increasingly well and better over the last 15 years and is still offering very, very good value today. It's made like a champagne, but it's not made from the same grape varieties and it's not aged as long. Also, it's not quite as dry, so it makes it more popular for parties. I think it's generally the kind of wine you want at weddings, that sort of thing, for people who have maybe drier or sweeter tastes. Let's have a taste of it. Got a lovely toastiness, almost a champagne-y toastiness, which I think is what makes it popular. Very good quality this. This is the best-selling brand in the world, Fresnet Cordon Negro, black label. Very good, soft, easy drinking, great on its own. Very nice with some savouries at the beginning of a meal. Next one, Prosecco. Now, Prosecco is the name of the grape variety, believe it or not. This comes from the northeast of Italy. And it's not made like Cava or Champagne, which both loosely use the same method. It's made using a process called the Charmat process, which is the same way you make lager. But instead of using hops and barley and all that sort of stuff, we're using grapes in this case. Now, that sounds a bit derogatory, but it's not. Like beer, you want to drink it lovely and fresh and crisp. The sparkling wines made in this method, the Cava and the Champagne, need a bit of age before you can drink them properly. This is best drunk young. So you've got a real style difference. It's lower in acid and it's full of fruity, almost bubblegummy fresh flavours. It's almost like drinking liquid candy floss sometimes. It's lovely. Where this one's more savoury and nutty. Prosecco is a much better drink, maybe earlier on in the day, maybe for lunch or maybe for a lunchtime reception. It's much softer. It's just so easy to drink. So easy to drink. Finally, champagne. Right, if you're going to pay the extra for a champagne, you make sure it's a good one. Now, Lanson is one of the most famous and most established grand marques, big labels in the champagne industry. But it's very stylistically dry. It's kind of got a very crisp, lemony edge to it. It's probably one of the driest and freshest of all the champagne styles. I think it's very, very good. It's very, very good at the beginning of a meal. It's not a big, grand champagne. It's a champagne which is fantastic, smashing for celebrating, for starting a meal, refreshing the palate. Of course, it's bound to go with your smoked salmon at Christmas. Speaking of which, I've been waiting all day for this. Right. Everyone knows champagne goes with smoked salmon. But what else goes with the Christmas menu? Now, we haven't got long, so I'm going to have to hurry. Right, first wine. Pinot Grigio, Conti Rossi. It's a great variety, and it's from the northeast of Italy. What can I say about Pinot Grigio? Everyone's drinking it. Now, I've tasted loads and loads of wines, dozens and dozens of wines with Turkey. I think this is the best grape variety with Turkey of all. At first, very soft, easy drinking. It's a real glugger. It doesn't have the edges of a sharp wine like Sauvignon Blanc, and it's not all fat and juicy like some others. It's right down the middle. Very, very popular banqueting wine, I reckon. With Turkey, I don't know why it works so well, it just does. There's an earthiness and a dryness to Turkey that's kind of reflected in the wine. Very good. Right. Little exclusive from ViVAS. This is a Macon Village. This is our classic choice. I think at Christmas people like to drink classic wines, and it doesn't get any more classic than white Burgundy. This is exclusive to ViVAS, this one. And it's made from Chardonnay. In fact, there's a village in Macon called Chardonnay. So in fact, there might be some Chardonnay in here from Chardonnay. Let's have a look here. Very grown up. This smells like serious wine. I think it's amazing that you can get this wine for this price. I do think this is one of the best wines on the offer this Christmas. Now this would go with your roast turkey, it would go with roast chicken, and it still goes with smoked salmon too. So it's a very versatile wine. Most of you would rather drink red wine. I know that. So, red wine with turkey. What do we want to choose? Well, there's two ways of going. Either really rich and juicy, like an Australian Shiraz, or going elegant and soft, like a light Burgundy, or like Beaujolais, which works really well with turkey as well because of the brightness. It goes really well with the cranberry sauce. You can imagine that, can't you? Kind of fresh and tangy and savoury. Well, this is a Pinot Noir called Les Noirs from ViVAS. And actually, this is seriously well made for the money. It smells like a basic Burgundy. Basic Burgundy costs £10 in a shop. This is about half that. Very good. Last but not least, this is the nation's favourite, Australian Shiraz. And if there was ever a time to drink a good Australian Shiraz, it's at Christmas. Here we go. Smoky, juicy, almost jammy. It's like wine gums. Lovely, delicious. Spicy oak. Right, I've been waiting for this all day. Cheers. Oh, God.
Would you like me to clear away, sir?
I can't move, yeah, it'd be nice. So, joking aside, what's next? The classic way to finish a Christmas meal. We have Christmas pudding and Stilton. And to go with them, we found a perfect match to go with each. Now, you must put this on the menu next to, you know, your Christmas pudding and your Stilton. Write down Muscat de Reeves out, this wine, by the glass with the Christmas pudding, and Taylor's LBV 2004. Thanks, Paul, for the bottles. That was great. And you'll be surprised how many glasses you sell. This one, amazingly profitable. You'd be surprised how delicious this wine is and how little it actually costs. Muscat is the oldest known grape variety in the world. It's delicious. It's a floral, very grapey. It goes really well with kind of the raisins on it. It's just magic. Also goes with virtually any chocolate dessert you want to serve. Absolutely fantastic. And finally, Taylor's Vintage Port, 2004. Brilliant vintage. You know, people are paying a lot of money for all the posh stuff. You'll have it on your menu this Christmas, hopefully. Now, port is made with just grapes that have been fermented for 1 day, and they put brandy in to fortify. And that's the reason why it goes so well with blue cheese. It's not really a wine at all. So, cheers. The rest is up to you.